All right, today we're going to demonstrate how to install a dump tarp kit on the Interstate gooseneck dumps. This procedure is going to be the same for the Interstate gooseneck model as well as their bumper pole. Today we have an associate, Tony, here who's going to help demonstrate this install for us. The required PPE for this install is going to be a pair of non-cut gloves or driver gloves or work gloves. You're also going to need safety glasses. Required tools for the install is going to be a cordless drill. On the cordless drill, you're going to need a 3/8 nut driver. You're also going to need a 3/8 ratchet, 3/8 extension, 9/16 socket, and a 7/16 socket. You'll also need a 7/16 open-end wrench and a 9/16 open-end wrench. Additional tools will be a number 3 and a number 4 Allen wrench, and we will also be using the lineman pliers for setting the spring. Installed inside of the kit, you're going to get your tarp, and so the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open this tarp up. We're going to lay it out inside of the bed of the trailer. Okay, Tony's going to stretch this tarp out. Now there's 2 ends to the tarp. There is a folded over bevel end that is about 3 inches wide, and there's one that's 4 inches wide. We want the side that's 4 inches wide and has the eyelet curtains, okay? Now you'll notice that the side that Tony's putting out there right now, the grommets are stamped all the way on the end of the curtain that goes towards the back of the trailer. Now the front, you'll notice here, the grommets are actually a little bit further back from the edge. So what we're doing is we're staging the curtain first, okay? All right, now once you've laid out your curtain, from here what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our gloves, put our gloves on. We're gonna grab the hub assembly brackets. Now you're gonna notice there's 2 brackets. There's gonna be one with a lever, one without a lever. Tony's gonna start with the one without a lever. He's gonna grab his 9/16 socket and ratchet and his 9/16 wrench. He's gonna remove the nuts and bolts from the bracket that are holding this hub on. All right, now the bracket's not gonna be used. What Tony's gonna do now, he's gonna grab his hub assembly and the nuts and bolts that he's just removed. We're gonna go over to the curb side of the trailer. He's gonna put the hub on the trailer. The Zerk fitting is gonna go up towards the sky. He puts his 2 bolts in. And now he's gonna put his jam nuts on. He's gonna go ahead and tighten this down. All right, now what we're going to do is he's gonna come over, he's going to grab the bracket with the lever. I'm gonna move in a little bit closer. He's gonna go ahead and remove the nut that is protecting the tension spring first. Once Tony has removed the spring, now we're going to remove the last 2 bolts. You're going to notice that one is short and one is long. All right, he's going to remove the hub. Now we're going to switch over to the 7/16 open-end wrench and the 7/16 socket. We're going to go ahead and remove the lock lever. Notice how when we remove the spring, we only removed the spring from the long bolt. We kept it attached to the lever bracket. Once you remove this bolt, you're gonna have a washer on the outside. You're gonna have a collar washer, which is like a step, and then you're gonna have a nylon washer. That nylon washer, make sure that you keep that. That's gotta go back on. From here, Tony's gonna switch back over to the 9/16. He's gonna grab his hub assembly. He's gonna take the grease zerk, he's gonna put it up to the sky. Now notice how Tony has the jam nut. We want the threads pointing out on that back one because you have to put the spring on that one, okay? He's gonna go ahead and tighten this hub down. All right, so now what you're gonna notice, I'm gonna move the camera here so you can see this. We've got the short bolt in the front, we have the long bolt in the back. All right, now with that long bolt, he's gonna put the bolt through the back. He's gonna put the nylon washer on. Now we're going to put the collar washer on. Okay, and that's a little build out, helps hold the lever back. Lever goes on. And right now we have the lever towards the bottom. And we're gonna put our nut on first, and we're gonna get that tightened down. This is gonna be the 7/16 socket and the 7/16 wrench. All right, you don't want to over torque it. You want that to be a movable lever, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the spring with the end of our pliers. We're gonna pull back onto that spring. You're gonna push it in, just like so. You're gonna grab the last jam nut. And we're gonna tighten this one down. This one, since you've already tightened the main bolt, you just need your ratchet on the outside. You're not gonna over torque this. You just want it to have a little bit of tension so that the spring cannot move back, okay? From here. All right, so you have 2 rods, okay? Now on these 2 rods, you're gonna have an intermediate bar. The intermediate bar is 36 inches long. We're gonna do halfway point at 18, and once it's halfway point, drop a set screw. Now that we've assembled our intermediate bar, it was 36 inches long, we marked it at 18. We put a set screw down, that way it holds that to make one uniform bar. Before we slide this bar into our curtain, we're gonna go over to the wheel hubs. You're gonna notice that there's gonna be 2 Allen wrenches. We're gonna need to loosen those Allen keys. That way when we go to slide our bar in, it will slide right in. We'll wanna do this to both sides. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this bar and we're gonna slide this bar through the curtain. Now we want the long shaft facing out towards the road side of the trailer. We're gonna insert this into the curtain. Okay, once he slides this bar into the curtain, he's gonna work his way over. He's gonna slide this down. He's gonna slide that into the hub, just like so. He's gonna allow the curtain to hold this into the pipe. Then we're gonna come over to this side. We're gonna feed this through the curtain. Once we're in here, we're gonna take these 2 pipes and you're gonna slide these together. All right, once you slide these bars in, now it's safe to remove the gloves because from here, we're not messing with any brackets or anything. Once you slide the pole in here, you're gonna notice that you got a black spacer back here. You wanna make sure that there's room between this spacer and the actual steel frame of the bracket. If you have it over too far, that black plastic will rub against the frame and cause a drag on the curtain. All right, from here we're gonna go over to the other side here. And before we tighten anything down here, we're gonna grab the gear and we're gonna slide the gear on. The gear is gonna go towards the inside against the bracket of the trailer. Next, we're gonna grab our handle and the retaining nut to hold that on.
All right, once we put that on, we're going to go ahead and tighten down the nut for the handle. And notice how we pushed that lever all the way in on that shaft. We did that to make sure that we clear the landing jack for the gooseneck. So always pull your jack handle out. Make sure you do not want it to do this, because then the landing pad won't work for the trailer. So you want to take this rod, slide it all the way in, ensure that your landing jack will clear. Once it clears, from here we can go ahead and tighten down the Allen keys on the gear as well as the hub. Tony's tightening the hub. This is the number 3. If you don't have metric Allen wrenches, 1/8 inch would work as well. The gear is your number 4. Now you'll notice there's a hook on the top rail of the dump trailer. While we were putting our hubs in, we went ahead and mounted those down. There's 4 that come in the kit.
As we're gonna put the retaining U clip up here, this is an Interstate dump. This one's gonna have the roll along support bar at the end of the curtain. This bracket that we're installing right now is the catch for that. This is also the catch for the end of the curtain if a customer wanted to hang their curtain. For our install, I always utilize the rope and then wind my rope nice and tight into the girdle of the dump tarp. So these ones here, 9/16. Bolt goes through the top, nuts go through the bottom. That's good. Now we're gonna go over to the other side and we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Once you get those bolts started, they'll pop through the hole.
We've installed and tightened down our lever. We slid and verified that our jack handle inside of the kit would have been 5 1-inch self-tapping hex heads. We're going to set one in the middle of the rod. From here, we're going to go to the inside pillar of the gooseneck and put one on the outer corner. We don't want to go to the very outside, and the reason why is there's a solid shaft and it'd be almost impossible to get that hex head through your solid shaft. Go to the other inside pillar, set a set screw, and then we're going to split the difference between the middle and the outside edges. Now the reason why I like to remove my gloves when I'm using screws is if you have loose fitted gloves, the screw could catch the glove and actually drive the bit into your finger. So when I'm utilizing screws, I will remove my glove. From here, we're going to grab our rope and we're going to set it on the back half of the curtain. I like to use the far eyelet for this. That way when I roll the curtain up, I utilize the rope to help hold the curtain tight inside the girdle of the dump tarp kit. So we're going to hook this on. Just kind of straighten this out. We're going to go up to the lever. Now when we're going to roll this up, you want to make sure that you're rolling this up towards the coupler. Okay? Now, if you try to roll it back underneath like this, what it's going to happen is it's going to catch on this sharp edge right here, and over time that will end up tearing your curtain. So you want to roll towards the coupler. All right, once this curtain comes all the way up, I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to grab the rope. I kind of just pull the rope over and then I walk back over to the lever. From here, while I'm holding my rope, I'm going to continue winding up my tarp. The rope is going to wind the tarp tight, keeping it from flapping and blowing around in the wind while you're driving down the roadway. Once you get to the end of the rope, you're going to slide on over. We're going to create a loop knot. So simply create a loop, slide it through, and then tie it like if you were tying a shoe. Okay? This procedure is the same for the gooseneck as well as the bumper pole. Now, the goosenecks will come with a roll-along bar. We are not going to demonstrate that in this install. There's some key things that you want to remember. You want to make sure that your lever is slid all the way in and that your jack lever will clear, so that way when you're using the landing pad, it won't interfere with the dump tarp. That concludes the dump tarp install video.